When I come back, I'm going to have our Alex Jones expert, Richard Schoenstein, in studio to talk about this monumental verdict. Stay with us. I have to talk a little bit more about the monumental verdict that we've been discussing in the Alex Jones case. I'm joined right now by litigator Richard Schoenstein. Rich, good to see you. You wanted to come on today so bad to talk about Alex Jones. I have to give you the floor. Your reaction to this, and if you think the plaintiffs will actually see this money.
Well, I think there's a long road ahead. This is a great moment for the plaintiffs. I mean, this verdict, you said earlier it was bigger than you imagined. It was bigger than I imagined. I had a passing thought just because of the number of plaintiffs that the verdict could approach $1 billion, but I didn't really think it would, and here it is. So it's a tremendous award, and I hope, if nothing else, that the victims understand that the jury heard them. The jury saw them. The jury verified that they're real, that they experienced real pain, and the jury said the truth matters. And all of that is tremendously important. Now, as for $965 million, I don't know. I mean, appeals, bankruptcy. This guy's never going to write a check. He's not an honorable defendant who loses a lawsuit and pays his debt. He's not going to do that. He's going to fight tooth and nail every avenue he can to try to avoid paying. But I think these lawyers for the plaintiffs are going to be real aggressive about collecting.
And seeing if he made any kind of fraudulent transfers, which would not be good for him either.
Absolutely. That is one thing to pursue.
One thing I'm a little confused about is the issue of punitive damages, because I looked at this a little bit, and my understanding, obviously he faces a third trial, right? He faces a third trial with respect to Sandy Hook. But here, there was another thing that he was sued upon, which, again, he was found liable for, and it's the Connecticut Unfair Trade Practices Act. My understanding is the judge in this case, Barbara Bellis, will actually determine the amount of punitive damages under that. I know it's a little bit of a nebulous issue, if you have any commentary on that.
That's my understanding, too. You know, generally, Connecticut law limits punitive damages. You can only basically recover the amount of your attorney's fees and costs. And he's going to get his attorney's fees. He might get it ×2 because of punitive damages. But this Connecticut Unfair Trade Practices Act is an open issue, and that's why the judge set a briefing schedule. She's going to hear in October and November both briefing on the punitive damages issue and testimony as to how much the attorney's fees that will be awarded, and it's going to make this giant verdict even gianter.
Is that a word?
Gianter? Ginormous.
Ginormous. I mean, I was still shocked at the number as it was coming out, and the first one we heard was Robbie Parker with $120 million. Still, what an unbelievable moment there, and we'll continue to follow what happens with Jones. So,